Third power by weight.
Okay, wait.
Oops, I gotta pull it up here. And with the Zoom, hold on, there we go. I can't see with Zoom on here sometimes. All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, you guys. My name is Michelle Rose, and a few of us are going to be getting on, as you can tell. Joy and Elise will be jumping on and sharing a little bit with you tonight as well. And we are just going to be kind of your presenters for the night. Hold on, there we go. I'm figuring out how to use this system. All right, so a little bit about me. You can kind of see the progress that I have had over the last few years. I have actually been on my gut healing journey for 7 years now. February hit with my 7-year mark. When I started, that was me on the left-hand side. That's my mugshot. Thankfully, it actually wasn't me getting a true mugshot. But that's kind of what it feels like. I am very embarrassed to put that up, but I look back at it every once in a while so I can see kind of the progress. My changes have been very internal, so that's why it says inside out health. I have struggled with my health essentially my entire life, and it's been a very, very hard thing for me to accept, because everything that I do and have been about my entire life has been about health and fitness and wellness and all of the things. I've been an athlete my entire life. I've always tried to eat very healthy. When I was little, I was like all about the food pyramid and made sure I was getting my fruits and my veggies in. And being an athlete, I was always working out, trying to make sure I prioritized my sleep. And no matter what I did, I was always run down, exhausted. I had horrible allergies. I had asthma, which is really hard when you are an athlete and you live in the Pacific Northwest. And as you can see, I have struggled with acne since I hit puberty. It's been fun. And because of that, I was put on an antibiotic when I was about 12 years old and hit puberty to calm down my cystic acne. And that led to, a few years later, my digestion autoimmune disorder that I was diagnosed with when I was 15. So when I say internal, my changes have been very internal, but they very much presented themselves, as you can see, on my skin with my cystic acne struggles. And so while we kind of sort of got on top of some of my digestion struggles for a handful of years, they reared their ugly head when I was in college, and I went through an eating disorder and got a virus and ended up very, very sick all over again, in and out of the hospital, with actually horrific asthma, where I couldn't walk down the street without huffing and puffing, when 2 weeks prior to, I was in the senior year of college competing as a collegiate athlete, running PRs. And then all of a sudden I could barely walk down the street. And so I got hit by a brick wall all over again. And it just led to this downward slide of what is wrong? How do I fix this? Lots of different medications, in and out of the doctor. And it was just this yo-yo. What is going on with me? Why am I so sick? What else can I possibly do? And so it was about 8 years ago now, I started actually learning about gut health. I got pregnant with our oldest, and I started trying to incorporate some of those things in my life to make sure that one of my biggest fears is my children having the health struggles that I have experienced through my life. And so I wanted to make sure that I was doing the right things during my pregnancy, postpartum, breastfeeding, all of that. Well, that's actually when I hit my rock bottom, was my postpartum journey, because I had horrific insomnia. I could not sleep. I had a brand new baby that hated to sleep at night too. My breast milk, no matter what I did, was just practically non-existent. I could barely get off the couch. I was having some very, very, very embarrassing digestion struggles. My mood was in the garbage. My anxiety was all-time high. Literally, the thought of leaving my house made me anxious. Just the thought of it. And since I had already heard about gut health, I was like, I need to do something. The doctors have done nothing to help me at this point in time. Like, I've been doing it for so many years. There's got to be an answer to this. So I truly fully got introduced to gut health, and I dove in. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that in 3 days, I was a whole new person, not even close. I had so many years of healing, like 15 years of almost daily antibiotic usage that I had to recover from. And so I am still sitting here and I'm still healing, but that's why it's called healing. It's not healed, it's healing. The ing means it's an act. It's a process. We are always constantly healing our bodies, our souls, our hearts, our minds, all of the things. And so I am still healing. However, as you can pretty much tell from the pictures, there's been a pretty massive change. I have completely 180'd my life. Yes, I do still have some things. I do still have some digestion issues here and there. I still have some breakouts here and there. However, I sleep incredible. I feel incredible. My mood's amazing. I can go all day. My allergies, this has been the best year of my life for my allergies. And I keep hearing everyone like, oh, I'm miserable. I'm like, I feel great. I'm good. So I have truly helped heal my body from the inside out, thanks to really, truly diving into gut health. And we're going to go a little bit more into what is gut health and how can it benefit you in your life. Go ahead, Joy.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
So my name is Joy, and I am a registered dietitian. And just a little bit about my background is that I never thought I had a gut health problem. I had stubborn weight. I too was a collegiate athlete and a lifelong athlete. That's how Michelle and I met. But I had stubborn weight, but as far as I'd been educated as a dietitian, I didn't have a gut health problem from what I knew. I knew I had hypoglycemia. I knew that I had anxiety, and I knew I had stubborn weight that, unless I really restricted my calories, the weight just wouldn't come off. And even then it eventually slowed down, because that is what the body is supposed to do, is that if you go into starvation mode, your metabolism gets shot. So, this quote here about the body is one integrated system, not a collection of organs divided up by medical specialties, which Western medicine does. The medicine of the future connects everything. And the gut is the second brain. And it's the foundation of everything that our body, all our body tissues are created from, everything the gut processes. And so go ahead and go to the next slide, please. And so how does plexus get to the root of our health issues? Well, one thing is that it cleans up the gut microbiome. So we say microbiome, and that just means that tiny little microorganisms live in us. And so that's what the biome part means. And they outnumber our cells 4-1. And so to think that they don't have an impact on our body and how we live is, just kind of being ignorant. They play a crucial role. And the problem is that the diet these days, the typical American diet does not facilitate a healthy gut microbiome. Artificial ingredients, artificial sweeteners, preservatives are the microbiomes, these microorganisms that we're meant to have, we should have, helping us digest. And not only digest food, they help us with hormone balance. They send off their own signals about hunger, and they play a huge role. But if we're eating artificial ingredients, preservatives, like I said, they can't live off that. And so that's where the dysbiosis, I think is what it's called, for the scientific name, but where our gut just starts to deteriorate. And that presents itself in hormonal problems. That presents itself in insulin resistance, because our gut sends off signals to tell us when we're hungry and when we're not. And if we have microorganisms living in us that aren't supposed to be there, the signals get all just mixed up. And I often say that we are our bodies are complex chemistry sets, and it's important to help just cultivate the right signals, the right chemistry for it all to work correctly. And then when the things aren't working correctly, when our hormones are swinging, that's where inflammation develops. And it is systemic, and people often don't realize that they have inflammation going on. But that's essentially what, when you have weight that just won't budge, the puffiness, the bloat, that is signs of inflammation. And that floating around in your system gets, not only does it present as puffiness, but it's deteriorating other parts of your body. And that's why just healing your gut, reducing inflammation, getting those hormones under control makes healing finally occur. It's not a Band-Aid, you're getting to the root problem. So next slide, please. Here is our friend Alejandra, I don't know like all of her stats with this, but it's just, remarkable of the reduced inflammation. So I don't know, if there actually was weight loss happening here, to just a normal person looking at this, you'd say, yeah, that person has lost weight. But that's the thing, when you heal the gut, a lot of times the weight stays the same, or even people put on weight, they just look healthier because that excess fluid retention is gone. The puffiness reduces from just the body finally functioning like it's supposed to. Next slide. So other factors that greatly affect the health outcomes and your gut health, I already kind of talked about nutrition and food with preservatives and artificial ingredients and how they wreak havoc. But moving your body and exercise, like that reduces inflammation. And there was a study when I went to an anti-inflammatory continuing education workshop that showed that if you just moved, people who moved their body just for 5 minutes every hour reduced inflammation markers versus somebody who just sat for 4 hours straight. Like, we are not meant to be sedentary creatures. Very few living things out there in this world are meant to be sedentary. Maybe a sloth, but they still move. And so moving your body gets your endorphins flowing, just helps, and that brings down inflammation. Sleep quality and quantity. Notice that it says there quality and quantity, because you can sleep a really long time and it's crap because you're waking up from sleep apnea, or you're waking up, because you had digestion problems. I mean, that's a real thing. Oh, my baby's gonna chime in. So, but sleep is meant for our bodies to recover, our brains to recover, and our gut needs to recover during that time too. And so if it's not good quality sleep, that's going to cause inflammation to be going. Stress internally and externally, that is what stimulates cortisol. But also, if you're not getting enough sleep, that causes more stress. If you're not moving your body like you should, that causes more internal stress. If you're eating, having a poor diet, that also is going to be causing stress. And so it all just is very connected, and our emotions and thoughts also trigger that cortisol, that stress release that we don't want having floating around in our bodies all the time. Also, at that anti-inflammatory workshop that I went to, they talked about how we have modern day stresses now that really do just chronically wear us down, where, cavemen, if they got trapped in a cave, they would panic because, if rocks fell down, they were trapped in a cave, then they knew that, that was the end of them. Well, we have the same stress response when we're caught in traffic, when we're caught in rush hour and our car, we have no control whether we can move, get to our exit or get home. That's the same stress response. And so that's an example of a modern day stress that didn't exist before. And we have that that's just one example, but there's so many modern day stresses that build up and affect our emotions, cause the inflammation, and affect our gut. Yeah. Perfect time for you to take over because babies. Yeah, okay.
All right. I love this quote here too. Treat your body like a temple, not a woodshed. The mind and body work together. Your body needs to be a good support system for the mind, body, and spirit. If you take good care of it, your body can take you wherever you want to go with the power and strength and energy and vitality you will need to get there. So this is a lot of what Joy was just talking about with all of those different pillars. They all play a role. They're all interconnected. And we truly need to treat our body as a temple, as something incredible. If we're running around and putting poor quality foods in our system, poor quality supplements too. Supplements are one of those I call it greenwash things, where it's thought that it's so healthy and so good for you. But if you're not looking at what the ingredients really are, it can be just as bad as putting an Oreo in your mouth, if not worse sometimes. So it is really important to be mindful of what we're putting inside our body, how we're treating our body, and how this talks about mind and body work together. So a lot of what we focus on, this kind of came up of like your emotional state and your thoughts. We also help support people through the mental health piece as well, through the anxiety and the depression. I told you that I literally was anxious thinking about leaving my house. I no longer struggle with anxiety. I no longer struggle with the depression piece. I've gone through a lot in the last year, personally, with my family and whatnot. And while there's been grief, there's been hardships, I have been able to stay out of that very dark, hard cloud, because a really cool thing about our gut health, if you don't know about the gut brain axis or gut brain connection, our gut is more powerful than our brain is. And the happy hormones like serotonin are produced in our gut. So when we are treating our temple and our body, treating our body like a temple, everything is going to be in a better place. We are going to have more power, strength, energy, and vitality, and our mental health is going to be much stronger. And that is such a huge part. This needs to be on point, but this can't be on point if our gut isn't on point. Adding support for your body through supplements. Are they needed? So I just kind of talked about like supplements can be a very greenwash thing. So when we talk about supplements, we're going to talk about quality, top quality. And we're not talking about going to Costco and buying the tablet multivitamin here. I'm going to call all y'all out if that's what you do. Okay, we're talking about top quality supplements. Why do you need supplements? So inconsistency of nutritional intake due to busy lifestyle. We're Americans, we live a crazy busy lifestyle, right? It's all about like, how fast can I get some? Everything is about speed and reducing like the amount of time that you need to do something. So a lot of people are going through the drive-through, picking up something pre-made, fast, easy, stick it in the microwave. I think we're all aware that that is not going to be the best quality food for you. And you're going to be losing a lot of the nutritional value by doing prepackaged things or drive-through, that kind of stuff. Also, soil depletion, industrial farming practices. So our soils are just known to be depleted. The nutrients that are feeding the plants that we are eating is not what it used to be even 20 years ago. The numbers are just awe-striking of how nutrient reduced our food is. And it's all about like farmers want to produce faster things as well. They want more money. And if they have something that comes out that is eaten by bugs and whatnot, they're not going to be able to sell it, right? So they're spraying it with pesticides, all of that kind of stuff. And that's going to come into our bodies or not come into our bodies when it comes to the nutrients. Loss of heirloom species, those are more nutrient dense as well. They're doing more of like GMO things because look, we can just replicate it real quick, plant it in the ground, poof, we're done. Increased toxins in our environment and chronic stress. So Joy was actually just talking about that stress of driving. That alone is a stressor. We are surrounded by stress everywhere. And part of this is our busy, crazy life where we're always on the go and we don't know how to stop and just rest and relax. but also the toxins in our environment. No matter how I live a very green, natural life where I try to make sure like my skincare products, our cleaners, like all of the things in our house are free of toxins as much as possible. But no matter how much you do that, the toxins are everywhere. They're literally in the air. You drive your car, guess what? There's toxins going into the air from that. You pretty much do like turn on any switch, you're going to be releasing toxins somewhere. So that is just something that we are constantly exposed to no matter what we do. More food-like substances than real food. And this is once again kind of like going and buying the processed food kind of thing. The processed foods aren't real, true whole foods. You want to be looking more at like your whole foods of fruits, vegetables, real meat. I am into like, if you look at real meat, how many ingredients is in a beef? How many ingredients do you have in steak? How many ingredients do you have in like Beyond Burger? I don't even know. There's a lot in there. And a lot of the times it's like, there's so many things in there that you don't even know what it is. I was talking to her earlier and she got oat milk and you'd think oat milk is great for you. Well, she found out that there's soy and wheat and all of these additional chemicals in her oat milk that she didn't even realize until she turned it over. And she's like, that's why I haven't been feeling good the last few days. This oat milk has crap in it. That's why I'm a big about reading labels, you guys. Research shows that over 90% of us have some vitamin mineral deficiency. Certain things like magnesium, 90% of people are magnesium deficient. Magnesium is required for over 300 different processes of our body. Some of that is going to be muscle contraction, sleeping, our mood, our digestion. And so we need to bring in those minerals somewhere. We have nutrient deficiencies everywhere because of all of these things. We need to make sure we have to do something to keep those the vitamin and mineral deficiencies up. We also don't eat a probiotic rich diet. The American diet is very lacking in probiotics. So a lot of other diets, like if you look at like a Korean diet, you're going to be eating like kimchi's. Sauerkraut is a great one. Fermented foods, those just aren't in the American diet. And if you are like eating sauerkraut, you're buying it from the store in a jar that's been sitting on the shelf, and that is not quality sauerkraut. Also like pickles, if you're buying the right pickles, yes, they can have the probiotics in them, but most of those pickles you're buying don't. So we are lacking also in the probiotic market. This is a great stat. The average supermarket apple has been in storage for 9 to 12 months. Isn't that insane? I think that's crazy talk. That's why I like to buy more at the local produce markets kind of thing. But that's 9 to 12 months of that produce, whatever, this apple is losing its nutrient density by just sitting there. It's going to be most nutrient dense actually when it's on the tree. As soon as you pick it, it starts losing some of that nutrients. So that's another reason we are deficient in our vitamins and minerals. Supplementation has been proven to be essential for our lives these days. Because of all of these things that we just mentioned, you simply cannot get, no matter what you do, no matter if you grow all of your own organic food and your own fertilizer, and all of the things, you cannot get all of the nutrients that you need in your diet anymore.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Elise, and I'm going to be talking about how we put this all together. And you can see my photos here from January of 2020, when I first started using the Plexus products, to this month. And the difference between that from age 38 to 42. I actually started the products. I had known Michelle for a couple years before I actually said yes, but I got to the point where I was 13 months past separation and divorce, and I just wanted to feel better. I was tired as a single mom. I was raising 2 boys that by the time I started, they were 5.5 and 2, and I was exhausted. I wanted help. I wanted to feel better. I wanted to feel like my old self, but foolish me, who knew what I was like going to journey through the next couple months. I am so grateful that I started using those products in January 2020. because we all remember, and we'll probably never forget what happened in March of 2020. During that time, my oldest went through a health diagnosis, and also, sadly, I'm one of the women that experienced post-separation abuse, and it has continued for 4.5 years. And so I know personally that I would not be where I'm at today if I was not supporting my system at the root. Also, I will share a little bit about how in 2023, I have dug deeper into my health. As Michelle said, this is a process and healing, not healed. And so the more we get into removing toxins from our life, living, really focusing on gut health, there's more things that come up and more things that are revealed in the healing process. So I have been doing the reset, which we will talk about a little bit. And what it does is it's a new 3-day nutritionally supported fast that Plexus released June last year. And I have been doing one every month. And I can't wait for my 5th to arrive on Saturday and partake next week for my 5th one. But through that, I have reduced my inflammation greatly. Just since January, without changing anything else, I have maintained 3 inches smaller in my waist. I've kept off over 12.5 pounds, and the puffiness in my face, I wish I had that photo up here too. It's just crazy, the inflammation. So when Michelle was talking about chronic stress, that is my life. That is what narcissistic abuse is. It's chronic stress, and it is something that I don't know if I have 13 to 16 more years until my baby ages out of the system. And so I'm really looking at like long haul of how I support my body. And adrenal fatigue, because that's very common in this situation. So Michelle, if you want to go to the next slide. So simplification, as I mentioned, I was 13 months out from my divorce when I started these products. I had 2 little kids, and my entire family lives 2,400 miles away. So I have created my own family here. I needed simple. Like if you're like, Elise, my life is too busy, I don't want to hear it. Raising 2 kids, like you either make your health a priority or you make an excuse for your health. And so this simplification is the key to sustainability. The system puts it all together in one step. And honestly, like it's a drink and some capsules. And if you make it super easy, you can take all your capsules at once. I have gotten my system down, and I would be the first to admit, I would say like the first 18 months, I was about 75% consistent, but since of June of 2021, I have been 100% consistent in my daily routine. Like it's just part of my habit now. So if you want to go to the next slide. So which applies to you, because we all experience things differently, but all of these relate back to the gut. So do you crave sugar or carbs? Are you anxious and sad? You don't sleep well. Your skin is a wreck. Your stomach is always in knots, or you have digestive issues. You can't focus and you have a foggy brain. You struggle to lose weight. You struggle to keep healthy weight on. You're achy and in pain, and you keep needing more and more meds to manage your health. And so personally, like I want you to like kind of look through these and like what apply. Maybe quite a few of them apply to you. And I know personally, I can say I no longer crave sugar, and I was a person that wanted like dessert every day after every meal. Easter this year, you guys, 2023, I didn't even want any candy. And if I do have candy, I want like the really good dark chocolate that's high in iron, that doesn't have a bunch of preservatives in it, artificial sweeteners, all of the junk that can be found in candy these days, especially artificial dyes. Anxious and sad was definitely there. Didn't sleep well. There was definitely many sleepless nights, and I definitely would say it is much better. And I go in waves. Skin is a wreck. My skin, you guys, is better now at 42 than it's ever been in my life. I didn't have the cystic acne that Michelle experienced, but I definitely had as a teenager acne, and I have scars from it as an adult. Stomach ache, knots, and a digestive, like stress will do that to you. So, and I think another one that really I can relate to is the achy and pain, the chronic stress and the inflammation of just, I feel it in my body. And I think what is amazing is the more people that I help with this journey and share the products, the more that I see that people that are in tune with their body have a lot more success. And also just some people are so disassociated that they don't even relate all of these or why it's happening to them. And so it's really amazing to help people through that journey. If you want to move on to the next. So which applies to you? You have vitamin and mineral deficiencies. You catch a cold that comes around and have immune challenges, especially this last year. It's like nationwide and probably worldwide. Maybe your labs are off with no apparent reason. I can relate to that. I've been digging deeper into that and finding I have a gluten sensitivity. You have autoimmune conditions and things just keep getting worse. It's very common for people that have autoimmune. After you have children, it attacks your body even worse. Maybe you have food sensitivities, or you have no energy to stay active or struggle to recover or build the muscle. So I would like you to write down or just like take inventory of what of those relate to you and apply to you. Okay, we can go to the next screen. So all of this is getting to the root of it all. Health is the greatest of human blessings. If someone wishes for good health, one must first ask oneself if he is ready to do away with the reasons for his illness. Only then is it possible to help them. By Hippocrates. So, why the business of gut health? A network marketing business is the perfect business for people who like to help other people. And I can definitely relate to this as I have just recently gone through a transition, and I'll share a little bit about my background before we move on. I have my degree in marketing. I've worked another direct sales business for 7.5 years. And when I started using the Plexus products in January of 2020, I told Michelle, I'm just taking the products. I already have 2 businesses. I don't need another. Well, guess what? Here I am in March of 2023. And now this is my full-time income. I have shifted from real estate and dropped my other network company a year ago, and just really working in alignment with what's placed on my heart. And this provides the flexibility of being a single mom with 2 kids in 2 different sports. And so for me, I love helping people. I've always my background in real estate, and I worked in corporate America for many years. And this is just a great fit for this season in life. And honestly, like, I feel like this is my home. I haven't been a W-2 employee for 10 years. And so this may be like, wow, so like outside of the realm if you're already a W-2 employee and have never done 1099 work, but I can't ever imagine going back. So do you want to go to the next slide? So why does a business with Plexus make sense? Number one, the right products and people. You've just heard Joy, Michelle, and I all share our stories and why we started. And it was all 3 different reasons. Could be the right time. Number 2, maybe you're looking just for some new products. You're looking for extra income with inflation, the cost of living. It's squeezing everybody. Gas is back up to over $4 a gallon. Like, it's everywhere, right? And number 3, the right compensation. And so when you look at different companies, and I have looked at many, the compensation plans out here, this is by far the best that I have ever experienced. So the compensation plan, here's the average monthly income. And so it breaks down by silver, and that's when you refer and help 3. Maybe it's a spouse is your number 1, or maybe a sibling or a parent or a child. And then it works its way up, as you can see, senior silver, gold, It goes from 150 to 75. Now this is average, you guys, gold to 750, senior gold, ruby, senior ruby. And senior ruby, I believe, is where Joy is at. Michelle is at the emerald level, so she's making over 7,000 a month. And at the emerald level, you guys, is where you actually get a Plexus Lexus car allowance. So you can go and purchase your Plexus Lexus. And Joy and I got to go with Michelle March last year. Our team earned it in February, working on upgrading to Sapphire and Diamond. So Plexus makes no guarantees of the income, and it's based off of effort and skill. But what I do know is that between Michelle, Joy, and I, and all the amazing women on our team, is that we have the resources. We are currently this week ranked number 43. Is that correct, Michelle? 43? 45. We were 63 last week. This week we're 45 in company-wide contest for a crew. So we have the skills. If you are looking for something, this is definitely, you want to be with where leaders are moving and shaking. So, and we have that. So why the business? For me, it's always been about freedom and flexibility, friendships and community. It's huge. And then the impact and growth. And so these, and every person may be different, but the community that we have here, we meet via Zoom. We also do in person. We did an amazing beach retreat in March. And just the impact and growth, you guys, of helping other people with their health. If we don't have our health, we can't build wealth in anything else. So my prior 9 years was in real estate, and I helped a lot of people with different things, but sometimes it was their health was ailing, and that's why they were selling. But this is so amazing that we can give life and affect generations to come through our families.
I'll go ahead and weigh in a little bit too, of kind of
Yeah.
what brought me to the business, because I definitely started, when I started, it was very much of, I had to get out of rock bottom. It was all about my personal health, but I also saw the impact that the business could have, because at that time I always say, living credit card bill to credit card bill. It wasn't a paycheck to paycheck. We couldn't even afford to pay all of our bills with the income that we had at the time. And so for me, at first it was like, how can I create some of this freedom? Like, it was the first time in my life I couldn't afford up my bills. It was the first time in my life I was using credit cards, and that was a huge hit for me. And so it caused a lot of hardships with my husband and I just had the scarcity mindset about money. And I was like, what if I could cover the cost of our groceries every month from this? That would give us some freedom, some breathing room. But as I started using the products more, seeing the results, my why has continuously changed when it comes to this business. So then it started being like, I can help people feel better as I'm feeling better. And that, like, I've always loved helping people. That's been a root of, like, I am an exercise physiologist. So I worked as a personal trainer for 10 years and had a business there. And so I was already helping people with their health, and I saw that the impact that I could have on their health with supporting them in this realm was so much greater. And I could marry the two as well. They worked hand in hand with each other. So that's when I started seeing the impact. And then as I grew a little bit more, I started being introduced to the community more and realizing I am creating a community. This is deepening my friendships with people. And as, like, my business has started to flourish more and more, like, I have literally created the community that I've always been missing and wanted so much. So all of these fit what I'm about and what I've needed in life. And it's been in various different places. And that's what I love so much about it. It's grown who I am as a person in every single sense of it.
So necessity is the mother of taking chances, from Mark Twain. So next steps, you're like, okay, we've learned all about this. I would like more information. You can go to the website below, take the quiz, and order your starter pack. Think of 3 people that need a positive change as well. Message them and invite them to join our health movement with you. You send the quiz link to get started. And I believe we're going to drop that quiz into the chat box. Is that
Yes. So I just dropped the
Okay,
link to
perfect.
the
Yep.
quiz in the chat box, so you can go ahead and click on that. If you click on that, the simple quiz will come up. You'll answer 3 different questions, and it will make a recommendation for you. You will just need the person who invited you's phone number to plug into that as you're checking out to get to make sure you get linked to them. If you don't have that, shoot them a quick message and say, hey, what's your number? We do have a promo code as well. If you pop that in, you'll get free shipping today. It's May 23. So that can help you get started. And as we were just kind of talking about the business side of this, the compensation opportunity, we want you to have maximum results. And this has got multiple levels to it. So with getting maximum results, there is this incredible stat, and it's the number 3 is something that we live very powerfully. So it says, think of 3 people that need a positive change as well. The reason it's 3 is there is a stat that when you get started with 3 people and you're on the products for 3 months, you have a 95% success rate of achieving your goals. And part of that is the accountability. We need accountability in all areas of our life. That's why I was a personal trainer. That's why I was making great money being a personal trainer, because people literally just needed the accountability. My clients would show up all the time and be like, I know what I need to do, but I'm going to pay you $70 an hour just to stand there because I'm not going to show up if you don't do it. And I'm not lying, you guys. I'm good at what I do, but I was like, all right, sure, I'll take your money. So the accountability is that piece. But since our company recognizes the importance of that, we want you to be successful. You get rewarded for bringing in those 3 friends with you, friends, family members, loved ones, whatever they are, and you earn a minimum of $300. And a huge help of that is we don't want finances to be the reason you're not on this journey. And so grabbing your 3 friends, having that accountability and that support, but also having that $300 is going to help cover the cost of your products. It might also cover the cost of some groceries or some gas or whatever that looks like. But we want you to be successful. Grabbing those 3 people, getting that cash in your pocket is going to help you there. And so that's why we're giving you these simple steps of message them and say, hey, I'm doing this incredible new gut health thing. I'm excited about it. I'd love for you to try it out with me. What do you say? And then you literally can just send them the same link and say, and here's my phone number, plug that in, and they can get started with you. It's that simple. You're not required to hold their hand. You're not responsible for their results. You are going to just get them plugged in with us, and we are going to help support them. We are going to walk hand in hand with you and whoever you bring along with you and coach you and support you. We don't also just sling some supplements and like, here you go, see you later, bye, have fun, good luck. We, like I said, walk hand in hand with the supplementation piece, but you also will have free access to a coaching platform that's called Pivotal for an entire year that's going to give you recipes, movement, grocery shopping list, goal setting to help support you along the way too. We recognize that it's not just a supplement that's going to fix all of the things. And that's why we were talking about the nutritional piece, sleeping, stress, all of that, because we see that it's a whole picture. And we want to support whole picture because that's where your results are truly going to lie. So part of that picture is getting started. You got to get your products ordered first, grab your buddies, and we'll get you all plugged in together and get you supported along the way and give you one-on-one coaching as well as the group coaching. We do have calls fairly regularly to help support you, get you more information, accountability, and that kind of stuff as well. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to some questions.